Right, we're going to start this show by pointing out we know there's only been one game. We are not reading everything into... Well, we are reading everything into this one game, but that's only because that's all we have to work on in terms of the action that we've seen. Given that, how impressive were Man United?
Very impressive. They're brilliant. It's how you'd expect. When I used to play against United, that's how they started. You went there on the first day of the season. Obviously, it's a full house. And you're hoping that they're not ready to go. I think Leeds played into their hands a bit, but you can't take anything from United doing that man-to-man with these players. Because as soon as you lose them, it's over for you. But it was as close to a Man United back in the day than I've ever seen. I'm not saying that's what they have to do, but they just looked imperious, man. It just looked so good.
There's a lot of optimism from Manchester United fans ahead of this season, and part of that is because they're back in the ground as well, and that contributes to that whole kind of old-school feeling for Manchester United.
Of course, yeah, and I think with the signings Ollie's made as well, I think Ollie's made his mind out. He wants Manchester United to be very attacking this season, get back to the old Manchester United. You know, got old-fashioned wingers, so to speak, creativity in midfield. And when you've got Bruno in the form he's been in, you know, carrying on to this season, you're going to get goals, and that's what they produced last weekend.
Yeah, and they do go out on the front foot under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. In fact, there have been more games, miles more games, in which they've scored 5 or more goals under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer than under David Moyes, Louis van Gaal or Jose Mourinho. It seems to be a strike-first mentality.
If you wind the clock back to December 2018, their very first game under interim Ole Gunnar Solskjaer against Cardiff was a 5-1. And what was interesting there was Wayne Rooney gave a little comment about the difference about playing under Solskjaer, what that would be like compared to playing under Mourinho. And he said, under Mourinho, you only really attack with 2 or 3 players, where Solskjaer very clearly wants 4 or 5. Yeah. And you saw some of these goals against Leeds United. Pogba's interlinking with Bruno, who's interlinking with Mason Greenwood. Scott McTominay's not too far behind. They get at you with numbers and at speed. Yeah,
it is. And for a striker to play in that sort of setup, I've put someone else's teeth in today. For a striker to play in that sort of setup, it's all there for you. It's all been created for you.
Yeah, like I said, it was quite frightening to see, and even with Lindelof's pass, it seems like everybody who's playing, and like I say, it reminds me of back in the day, is that everybody who gets on the ball for the Man United side is looking to do some form of damage to you. And when you've got the runners, like the Greenwood goal was perfect, where, you know, you give somebody like Pogba that much time and space, and he'll hit a pass that you don't see very frequently. Maybe Kevin De Bruyne might be able to do that as well, but he done it with it was so lax and so calm and so beautiful, onto a full pace Mason Greenwood was straight catching him, and it was beautiful to watch. So what you see with United, where the game is stretched this end to end. Man United in that format, unstoppable, because they've got so many players in the moment. Bruno, you know, Pogba, Greenwood, you know, Sancho ain't even started yet, no Rashford. You've got so many players in the moment that will hurt you if you're trying to attack, and they get the moments and then they'll punish you.
Let's talk Paul Pogba. 4 assists in that victory for him. And after a slightly unsettled summer for him, he's come in, he's started the season all guns blazing. Is this a sign of what we can expect from him this season consistently?
I think with Paul, yeah. I think he's carried his form on from the Euros. I thought in the Euros he was absolutely fantastic. But we all know his passing ability. We all know he's very creative, can score goals as well. But I think on Saturday he proved to everyone just how good a player is. And people are starting to disrespect him a little bit too much. You know, saying, 4 assists, yeah, he's got 4 assists, but what else? He has brought quality, and he'll continue to do that this season. Yeah, we're not sure if he's going to sign a new contract at Manchester United, but you have to enjoy him if he's not going to be at Manchester United come next season.
But the thing is that people talk about the contract, and even when he had the problems with Riola and Ole, when he was shouting off his mouth a bit, the agent, Pogba still played good football. And you're looking at Pogba now, even with all players now. I remember Arsene Wenger said it a few years ago. All players will be looking to put contracts down. It's not something that's a bad thing. It's just that players know that that's an opportunity. It's not affected the way Pogba's playing. He's still bringing everything. And what he's proven to Man United now is that whether he wants to move or not, I don't think for me at the moment, especially with Varane coming the other way, if somewhere like Real Madrid or Barcelona is better than where he is right now. And so what he's doing, he's playing a brand of football that he probably, hopefully, for Man United fans, will realise, well, yeah, I want to be here. But at the same time, people got to stop talking about, oh, he's only got a year left. Because they're going to constantly talk about contract, if he plays well, if he doesn't play well. Whereas Pogba just gets on and does that. That's a brilliant start to the season for him.
That changing landscape in football and that shift in power is something we're going to come on to in a bit more detail later on. But on Paul Pogba and the way he's started this season with that opening game, and as Andrew said, picking up from the form that he had in the Euros, nobody's saying that he's not capable of those performances. What they're saying is, will we see them not every week, but most weeks?
Yes, and that always remains the difficult thing about the sort of on-his-day performance of Paul Pogba. Still doesn't quite guarantee you a win. If you think about, for me, Paul Pogba was the best player at the Euros up until that game against Switzerland goes through extra time. And then it all sorts of implodes a little bit. Yeah. Pogba played well against Leeds because Leeds, with that man-marking system, gave him space. Bruno Fernandes was being marked by Robin Koch, and Bruno Fernandes sort of dropped deep and gave extra space for Paul Pogba. And if you give Pogba enough space on the ball, he's going to put that ball wherever he wants to. And it's fantastic. And I think that goal for Mason Greenwood was exemplary in terms of giving a bit of space. And he can not only move the defender, but he can also move the player and create the vision. That's going to be fine against a team like Leeds United. That's going to be good against teams that want to come on to Manchester United. I think their home record will improve this season because teams will want to try and basically be repelled by whatever attacking quality United throw on. It's when United play against teams that want to drop deep, that want to defend deep and don't want to come out. That's where the difficulty comes for Paul Pogba. We know Pogba, like a lot of players that are over 6 foot, doesn't really like it when two players come to press him. So he hasn't had great games at Southampton, which will be interesting because Southampton are a high-pressing team. If Ralph Hasenhüttl was watching Pogba, he's got to go send 2 lads up on him and see what happens next.
Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah, but then surely the signing of someone like Sancho, because of us, jump the gun here?
No.
Okay.
Go.
The signing of someone like Sancho, who, the same for me, like, as Grealish, he gives you a different problem when he gets on the ball. If team's going to stay deep, and so what happens is he'll take players out of the game with skills. I think that this is one of the biggest factors for me for United this season. We know their left side is brilliant. What Luke Shaw does, when Rashford's playing, everything comes from that side for some reason. And the right-hand side is the percentages. I would love to see what the percentages of the goals created from this side is. I'm sure it'd be a lot further behind than the left. Jadon Sancho will bring that right up. And he'll also bring that problem what Carl has highlighted, which is a problem for United, creating that when people are doing that low block. And I think that he's somebody that now he'll take players out of the game with skills going into boxes, more free kicks, more opportunities to get the ball in the box for people like Harry Maguire and maybe Varane. So I feel that they're slowly just sorting out all their problems.
Got more options.
Yeah, maybe that holding midfielder, Carl, at some stage, I'm sure they're going to get that person. But at the moment, you're seeing everything in that performance, and you're right to say it, Kels. It's only one game, but they've started with a kind of an attitude that makes me think, right, they're here to play.
Yeah, I think Manchester United are better as well when they don't play with 2 holders. I mean, I think when you're at home, you can't play 2 holders.
Yeah.
Not Old Trafford. Yeah. With the quality that they have, you don't need 2 holders, man.
Yeah, man.
You're going to dominate the game. Naturally, when you come against the bigger teams, it's going to be a little bit different, but at Old Trafford, you've got to go for it. It's as simple as that. That's the way we've been brought up.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was the first time you came on this show and you talked about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and what his blueprint might be. And you were looking back at that classic team that Solskjaer played in. Are they bringing Sancho in? Are they now closer to kind of creating that setup?
I think they're as close as they've ever been. After the victory against Leeds, I did ask Solskjaer sort of how he develops Mason Greenwood. I said, when you've got, I'm assuming you want to one day make the striker, when do you add an extra bit to his game? And then Solskjaer looked at me and went, who told you I want to make him a striker? And I got very embarrassed. And he, goes, he said, no. So you said Greenwood plays on the left, he can play on the right. You look at his goal that came on the left-hand side, he can play in all these positions. And then I went, well, do you want him to play in all these positions? And he said, yeah, I want all. He goes, everyone apart from Cavani. Cavani's the only fixed striker. And then he mentioned Carlos Tevez, Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, but I don't think Mace actually wants to play as a centre forward.
No.
That is a difficult role. To be a number 9, that's pressure. I know if you play off the left or right, it's different. But being a number 9 at Old Trafford.
I thought what was interesting was he mentioned the 07-08 team, which when I was here before, I said, I think he wants to do that. And he was the forwards coach in 07 a little bit towards the end of that season before he became the reserve team coach. And I think he's always had it in his mind, could he create of front three that was a bit like Rooney, Ronaldo, and Tevez, and they're getting closer. I think Jadon Sancho is the sort of Ronaldo-esque right-sided player that can go into loads of positions. Greenwood is just sort of Tevez-esque, where he's a bit more of a striker, but he can also play on both sides. And then we know Marcus Rashford grew up watching Wayne Rooney, and he adores watching Wayne Rooney and has that sort of very selfless streak where you can move him to all those sorts of positions. So there is a version of a United front three where you have that front three and they're all constantly changing positions. And I think that's a nightmare to play against if you're an opposition team.
Yeah, really difficult to play against. But for Mason Greenwood, like as you said, if he doesn't want that fixed number 9 position, is he better suited to playing in that more flexible role?
I think so. Yeah, I think with Macy's talent, you know, he's forced that he can play across the line, you know, centre forward, left or right. But listening to like some of the coaches, Fletch and people like that who I speak to, I don't think he's fixed on playing as a number 9. You know. Like I said, number 9 is tough. And as such a young
state of mind.
Exactly. As such a young kid, you know, to be Manchester United number 9 at that age, it's hard work. Well, I think now Cavani, and if you listen to the noises Ollie's making, you know, come next season, you know, then we'll look to buy, for instance, a Haaland or a Kane if he's still available. I think they're looking long term, right? Mace won't be a number 9, but he'll play. But they want a number 9.
Yeah. I mean, he's not doing too badly in terms of goals scored, though, Mason Greenwood, compared to other teenagers in the Premier League. I mean, he's up there, maybe not with the very best out-and-out strikers who are hitting sort of numbers of 30 or so. But given that he only has until the 1st of October and then he's no longer a teenager, he's at 18 there behind Nicolas Anelka.
I think that when you look at what Mason Greenwood's doing there, the numbers are amazing. Because you look at, of course, Michael Owen, Robbie Fowler, unbelievable.
And Michael Owen's career was so front-loaded, wasn't it?
It was very front-loaded. Yeah. But what they haven't had to go through, what Mason Greenwood's gone through, is being at Man United from a young age all the way to get through that academy into the first team and then start putting up numbers like he's putting up and then putting in performances like we saw against Leeds at the start of the season. And if that's something a sign of things to come, then it's going to be frightening what he's going to end up doing, because he's done a lot of hard work just getting where he is. And he's got there under a lot of pressure. Yeah. You know, he's under a lot of pressure because it just comes with the territory of United. And he seems to be dealing with it now, sorting out all the stuff all the other stuff that's going on with him. And he just seems ready now. And so I feel that not long, he's going to be blasting past all of those numbers.
I think off as well. I think that's really helped.
Just to get him prepared and mentally, physically fit.
Yeah, mentally as well, fit, and then physically comes back pre-season, he can really crack on.
So Mason Greenwood can really crack on for Manchester United, and certainly they've taken the approach that attack is the best form of defence. But with their latest signing, maybe they think defence is also the best form of defence. Here's Raphael Varane.
How does it feel to be able to call yourself a Manchester United player?
I'm very happy and very excited to start this new journey for me. It was a very good adventure with my old club, but now it's a new start for me, and I'm very happy to be here.
You learned Spanish as soon as you arrived at Madrid. How is your English? It sounds great, but how is it for you?
No, it's difficult for me to do this interview in English, but I have to try. I think it's very important to be close to the fans, because we have the same objective. We have to fight together, and it's important for me to be comfortable with my teammates, with the coach, and it's important for me, for my life and for my professional life too.
Talk us through the timeline. When did you realise that a move here to Manchester United was going to happen for you?
Yeah, I think there have been a lot of rumors, a lot of people speaking about me and Manchester United since 2011, when Sir Alex Ferguson come in my mother's house, and I think when it was real, it's when I spoke with my club, and I feel a real opportunity to play in Premier League and for Manchester United.
What a signing for Manchester United. 3 La Liga titles, 1 Copa del Rey, 4 Champions League, 3 Super Cups, 4 World Cups. 1 World Cup and 4 Club World Cups. I mean, apart from that, what's Rafael Varane ever done?
Exactly. I think it's a massive coup for Man United to get that player from Real Madrid. Whatever Real Madrid are going through, it doesn't happen. You don't normally get that player going the other way. You don't get the Real Madrid player coming to Man United. We've seen Ronaldo go across there. We've seen that happen. We've seen Hazard go across there. But for Man United to get him in his prime, with people saying, yeah, well, Real Madrid don't get rid of good players. Well, actually, they do, because they just have. Because for him to go to Man United now, in his prime, it's a magnificent signing. He's a top player.
It's a real statement of confidence and belief in what the future holds at Manchester United as well.
Oh, most definitely. And for Ran to make that move, to leave Real Madrid, if you look at his CV there and what he's achieved, to go to Manchester United and say, right, this is a new challenge for me, something else I want to try, that says it there. You know, he's prepared to move, different club, different culture, move to Manchester United and start all over again. And he is a quality player, however you look at it. He's going in his prime, like right, he said. But if you look at what he can give Manchester United as a centre-half, you know, not just for his national team as well, he's been fantastic. He's been the mainstay at Real Madrid for many, many years. And to come to Old Trafford to do just that, I think he'll have a massive career there.
We talked about Jadon Sancho a bit earlier on, but even looking back further into Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfers, with Cavani coming in, with Bruno Fernandes, who'd had success in Portugal, it seems to be as much about bringing the right mentality into Manchester United as it does about what they bring in terms of their skill sets.
Yeah, I think to play for Manchester United, you've got to have that winning mentality. You've got to know what it's all about. And like you touched on here, the players Ole's trying to bring in, I think he's trying to go what the previous manager used to do under Sir Alex Ferguson. He wanted to know what a player's mentality was before he went out there to go buy them. Do they want to win? You know, what they're like on and off the football pitch. And I think Varane, I know Varane's a winner. You know, you don't stay at Real Madrid for as long as you have done if you're not a winner. And he knows what that feeling is all about. And like I said, I think he'll be a massive, massive plus for Manchester United. Yeah.
But purely on the aesthetic, he already looks like he belongs.
Yes, there's a great moment in this video where I think he just after he takes his selfie, he goes and he has a little embrace with Rio Ferdinand. Almost felt like a passing of the torch in terms of I'm one classic, legendary Manchester United centre-back to another. And I think he will offer United much what Rio Ferdinand did. I think the partnership he'll have with Harry Maguire will be probably...
Yeah.
They're very well suited. So I think Harry Maguire, very, very good at marking the man. If you've got he's a bit like a dog. If you've got the ball, he's going to chase after you and he's going to make sure you're depossessed. Whereas Varane's very good in terms of marking the space and jockeying you and pushing you to areas where you don't want to go to. He'll turn really good goal-scoring opportunities into very bad crosses and whatnot. There's also the fact that Varane, he's quick. He's very, very quick. And if Manchester United want to become a high-pressing team and play with a higher line, if things do go wrong, he'll be the centre-back to clean things up. So I think that will be really important. In those games where they're playing at home and want to keep the pressure up onto teams that want to hunker down, he'll be probably the last man, while whoever is the goalkeeper will be someone outside the penalty area.
That's going to be an interesting question as well, which we will touch on, and who is going to be in goal for Manchester United across the next couple of seasons. But bringing Varane in, and as Carl was saying, that matchup with Harry Maguire seems to be like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer starts at the front, starts with goals, and worked his way back. It's not the classic way to go in and try and improve a team. It tends to be going and sort the defence and then put the sparkle on at the end.
Yeah, but the thing, what Man United have had for many years is they've had, like, the forwards have been the mainstay of Man United. They're the ones, Rooney and Ronaldo and all that. Those are the guys that have been the ones, Andy Cole. You know, Dwight, all the people that were up front was what the main focus was with Man United. And recently, obviously, it has changed simply because you need to have a good defence. You know, I still feel that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is, for me, the best defensive right back in the country. No one's going to change that. You know, Lindelof can do a good job next to Harry Maguire, which he's done, but you've seen mistakes. But now they've got world class next to Harry Maguire, and for me, Luke Shaw, world class. For me, that's it. It's shored up. Even people talking about Andy quite rightly said, playing two defensive midfields at home against some teams, the top teams maybe, but now with Varane, you could probably get another offensive midfield player into the team simply because of his pace and, like Carl said, the way he can see the problems with the space. He'll go and mark the space and stop the people trying to maybe get into the places where they're going to try and turn and get at someone like Harry Maguire. So he'll snuff all that out. So we're talking about a defensive unit now, which kind of matches the front end in respects of quality. It's frightening.
And those midfielders who are getting the ball between the two of them, shuttling it from back to front. Yeah, it's working. It's certainly working for them. And the expectations then realistically high for Manchester United for this season.
I'm hoping so. I'm not sitting there saying, Man United are going to win the league because we won 5-1 against Leeds. But I think it's all positive signs. And, we're speaking about Varane coming. I think Paul Pogba's had a lot to do with that as well. So you could possibly look into that and say, would he entice his teammate to come to Man United if you're really thinking about moving on?
Yeah.
Because he must have had a big say, because I know the big friends of the national. I mean, when we're in the national team as well. So I think that's a positive sign.
Yeah. And what's going to be really interesting to look out for across this season is how Manchester United approach those big games against their serious rivals. Do you think it's going to be a more aggressive approach?
Yes, I don't think we'll have the 0-0s against Chelsea, against Manchester City and against Liverpool. I think United will go for broke a lot more of those games. Varane allows them to play stronger up. And I think Sancho is just such an exciting element that he can play on the right, on the left, and sometimes he'll probably drop in the number 10. There's going to be a lot of goals for this United team.
You know something, Kelsey? You could see that with the top teams now, the top 4 teams, whatever it is, or whoever they play. If Man United just say, right, let's just have it out, we'll duke it out with you. You like Chelsea or City or whoever it is, with that team and that defence, you'd have to say you'd fancy Man United against any of them. If they say, OK, let's just go for it, like 2 boxes right in the middle of the ring. And you'd have to fancy Man United as much as anybody, simply because of the players they've got that can make things happen in the moment.
Yeah. And do you know what? As much as you look forward to those games as occasions over the past couple of seasons, there was all at the back of your mind, you were thinking, this is not going to be a good game. It's not. But now you're looking ahead to this season and you think this could be fun.
You have to. I think in Manchester United's case, if they genuinely believe they're going to win the league, you've got to go toe-to-toe with those boys. There's no point in trying to nick a point off Man City or a little. There's no point. You've got to nick the 3 points. Especially if you're at home. If you go away and you get a point, you've got 4 points.
You know that time in the game, and when you're playing, when you think to yourself, right, we've done our bit, let's get the point now.
Yeah.
I remember playing against them, and you could see that with United, where they said, right, they will hammer at you, and then it's like bam, bam, and then all of a sudden they'll just go bam, they'll take the point because they know that next week they're going to beat a team. That's what I want to see the United do, simply because that's what I used to see them do. They come and they are coming for your throat. And then if that doesn't happen, they do not lose.
Yeah.
And we're going back to all these similarities for the Manchester United team now to the ones that were successful. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, obviously a big part of that in the past. And he knows what that takes. Do you think his reputation is growing?
I think people are starting to respect him now. He's not won a trophy. I understand that. And people keep saying, it's a massive season for him this season. Of course he is, just like any manager. But I think now people are looking at Ole and saying, right, he knows what he wants. He knows where Manchester United are trying to get to, and he's bringing the right players. Now, can he get Manchester United, so to speak, over the line by winning silverware? And what he's accumulating at the moment, I'm very, very excited about this season. Yeah. But like I said, I'm not going to sit and say, we're going to do X, Y, Z. But really excited about what we have.
Yeah. I mean, there's an argument that regardless of what happens, he was absolutely the right man at the right time for Manchester United. Whether, he's the man to get them over the line in terms of silverware, we don't know until he's won a trophy. But for the man to go in, change the atmosphere, change the mentality, change the dynamic to make it more recognisably Manchester United, he absolutely was the right person.
He's a genuinely surprising coach in that every time I think he's reached his limit, he comes up with something new, or he gets that good result, and you're going, okay, maybe there's something left in your back pocket. And I think his interim period was very much, let's just do it like we did under Ferguson. And then there was sort of a year and a half where I wasn't quite sure what he was planning. And I think I came on here and said, I have to squint and tilt my head and then I can figure it out. I don't think you have to squint anymore. We know what this United team want. They want to play quick, counter-attacking football. They are going to put in loads of crosses when Anderson Cavani comes in. They are going to be really hard to break down in defence because they've got Varane and they've got Maguire, 2 players who are very good in their 1v1 duels. This all makes sense in a way that hasn't made sense at Manchester United since perhaps Ferguson's retirement. And he deserves an incredible amount of credit for that. And that is probably why he's got that contract extension.
I think as well, Kels, I remember saying what Ollie's brought to Man United is that it feels like I feel our Man United should be and how they're respected now. He's taken his time to get around that. And I have to agree with Carl when Carl said, sometimes you think, well, what you playing? You know what I mean? What you playing? But you can look at this team now, the way they played against Leeds and say, OK, I get it now because he's got the personnel. So I remember saying it was vibes, you know what I mean? And Man United fans continually come for me with that one. And they're right to, because now you look at it, he's brought Man United back to how people see Man United. And I think that there's going to be a fear with them now. And what Ollie's doing is giving them the opportunity to just go and do it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So when you couldn't recognise it before, it's because probably the players and that don't do what we want. Yeah. You want to see them go in and do it. So then you say, oh, so someone like me will say, oh, look, it's just vibes. I don't know what you're doing. Like Carl will say, I'm trying to work out what they're doing. When you've got the right players and they go and do it, you see what they're doing. Now I can see what they're doing. The quick breaking, the quality players, the quality players in the moments that create something, bam, before you know it, you're 2-3-0 down against them. That's the team he used to play.
I think, exactly. The good thing is now they can play counter-attacking football. You can't always rely on that. But I think now we can still play that, but we can play.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, to win a league, you can't play counter-attack football. You can't do it for 38 games. You can't do it. So you got to play as well. And like you said, where Ollie's trying to get to now, if we're going to play the quick break, we've got the place to do it. Yeah. But we can play as well. And that's what Man United have to do.
Yeah.
See Manchester City losing their opening game of the season against Tottenham. A lot of the sides towards the top end of the table last time around have strengthened over the summer. So there's probably going to be points dropped. There's not going to be, judging on one game and over the summer, you would suspect that there isn't going to be one of those pushing 100-point kind of seasons because those big teams will be able to challenge in a much closer way. So does that open the door for Manchester United, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that you say that, Kels, but if Man United can play like that, and like you say, it is the first game, they can beat and give anyone around them a good game, and then it's those games that Man United used to struggle against, the low block teams, the teams that frustrate Man United. You know, those are the teams that Man United have to beat, I should say. And if they do that, I can see Man United beating the top teams and then and just dealing with those teams, dealing with the teams underneath them because they have to get those points rather than not lose, get a draw, but like they will probably beat those teams. I still feel it's going to be tough for someone to go to that 100 points, but I feel that the confidence that they're in, you don't know what can happen.